I don't find any humor. There's actually, this is like a double whammy.
I had it on all day. I had it on all day. You can go back and look at the videos today. I've been wearing, this is what I put on this morning.
Happy Leprechauns Day. What's that day? What's the holiday I'm thinking about? Where
St. Patrick's Day?
St. Patty's Day. No, this is not a St. Patty's Day special. This is a Sanctuary Sunday here in the I'm at a loss of words. Listen, here's what's going to happen. Let me just kind of let everyone know my version of what happened. I'm over here for the last 15 minutes getting everything set up. Yes or no? Mm-hmm. You're in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. Now, you can say you've been wearing that all day, but you were not wearing that while you were out doing your chores.
Yes, I was. Yay.
Bottom line is, I come over here and say, babe, it's time. It's 8 o'clock. We got to roll. And she runs out wearing the exact same color as I'm wearing, which I think is like some kind of a joke.
It's not a joke. I literally had this on all day.
Anyway, that's, you know, and then she has a cat in her hands, a little kitten. She has a little kitten in her hands, and I don't know what to say. You could just go with the lie. Just go with it. You've really thrown me off my game. You don't catch me at a loss of words too often. Right now, I'm at a loss. I don't even have a cap to tip.
Everybody, say hi, stranger, because this is Stranger. And Stranger was the first baby to be captured. Now, there is a fabulous video footage that will debut tomorrow morning. And when I say fabulous, I mean like, it's like Grammy worthy. Like, it is fantastic performance by yours truly right here, Lester Morrow. And it is, it's like, what?
I don't know where you're going with this. I don't know why you're rubbing it in. You caught a kitten.
But you caught the third one. And it was the funniest moment. Like, in the world, top 3 moments of our lives together. It's that great, and it is on video. And it will play tomorrow. And he has been begging me
not to play it. Listen, we had a really good thing going here. I'm just going to quote a really sweet lady who says, Jami, just remember that men by nature, by our DNA code, we are hunter-gatherers. We are like barbaric in how we go about providing and the things that we do. And if you don't go in there and...
Here, hold the kitty so it makes you feel better.
Well, this is going to make me look real good now. Hi, sweetie. Yeah, so now I understand why every time you go to the vet, all them poor vet techs and the veterinarians all have their hands all scratched and cut up. Megan,
you can't see it very well, but I'm slightly injured.
You go over there to see Megan, and her hands are always scratched up. And I was like, man, what is like all these people doing? Like, they live a rough life. No, they live with cats. They deal with kittens. And this is actually good compared to...
This is like night and day difference. Like, this is exhaustion is really what it is. This is exhaustion.
I don't really trust that one yet.
Oh, no. The one that can't be trusted is actually in the other room. I'm going to swap it out and go get another to hold and show off who's who. But I'm telling you, like, Lester's like, don't play it. Just show the kittens on the live and it'll be fine. Just tell everybody we got them. Nobody has to know how. Oh, y'all need to know how. Y'all need to know. After this 2-week-long, actually, fiasco of kittens, there's no way I'm going to leave y'all in the dark about how this went down, because it was magical. Just magic.
I think that I had some really good ideas. Just I didn't have the right tools. And you need the right tools. What? I didn't have the right tools.
Hold on. Keep talking. I'm going to go swap cats out.
I just want to say how blessed we are to have caught the kittens and gotten them out of the wall, from behind the wall. Like Jamie said, it was a 2-week ordeal of having them up in the loft, and then they found their way down behind the walls where they would have died had we not found that access point behind the tub. And they found the way to it. And then even then, it was just to get them to come out was something. Here's number 2.
This is Fritz. And Fritz, and their names are just whatever. Fritz was on the Fritz the whole time. As you can see, Fritz is not as subdued as my little Stranger is. Stranger is actually the kitten that was the one that we found originally at the bottom of the steps. And so I feel like Stranger had a little bit more like will, maybe, like fight in him. I haven't even looked to see if they're male or female yet.
I'm not holding them, not without welding gloves. I mean, them
but
big kind.
This is the one that bit Lester. This is the one that really. This is the one. Now it's gotten better, as you can see, but they're still. This one is still a little bit more skittish than the rest. Somebody says Fritz bit Lester. Fritz almost took off Lester's finger top. Like, there was a lot of blood.
And in the video, that poor cat had blood all in his mouth. That was my blood. He bit my finger, and it was all over his mouth, all over my hand. Sissy says, Lester, I think you just overthought it. Sissy, with all due respect, I'm a hunter-gatherer. All right, I'm a barbarian, and I just wanted to snatch that. I wanted to snatch him out of the wall and put him into a crate. And
well,
yeah,
what he really thought he could do.
Well, they got the better of me. They got the better of me. I am man, but them little kittens are.
We'd be sleeping at night or wake up in the morning, and they're like all over the floor underneath our bed. So Lester thought he could just let his arm hang down on the side and just, snatch one up with his hands. Not going to happen. So that's where all of the other brilliant ideas stemmed from. Is like if he's just present and just blocks the entrance, then he can go from there. And all I can tell you is there's only 5 holes to patch from screws, and the cover is back on the wall, and yeah, that's
go
success.
grab number 3.
You didn't even get to hold him. Her, I don't know. That's it. That's all you
gently
got.
Scratch his ears. How about
that's
just rub
all
his
you
ears?
got for this baby?
All right, he's a cutie.
You have to admit, this one's really pretty. Like, it's silver. Everybody say hi, Fritz. Hi, Fritz. You beautiful baby.
Yeah, after I drilled the holes in the wall to set up my fishing net contraption, that's when Jamie drew the line. And then she said she'll do it her way. And then she did it her way. And her way ended up working this time. Her way doesn't always work. Y'all should know that her way worked this time, but her way doesn't always work. So I just want to make sure that I put that out there. And cats are not really my thing. I'm more of a dog kind of a guy. And cats are cute, and but they got sharp teeth and sharp claws, and they don't have to be very old to have all of those tools.
These guys don't even weigh a pound. They are very tiny and young. And for the fact that 2 weeks ago is whenever we noticed them, they were half this size 2 weeks ago, which is crazy to think about. Everybody, this is Frady, like Frady cat. Looks a whole lot like Fritz, but is less, is smaller, just smaller and a little bit more wiry haired. I'm not a big cat lady. I love Mr. Hank and I love our cats, but I'm not. I'm more of a dog person like you are. But we need cats to be able to, deal with rodents and mice for a farm, of course. So that's important. And of course, they're adorable because they're little tiny little babies. But what's sad to me is that I had recognized that their mom. There was a strange cat hanging around for a little bit. And I knew all of our cats were fixed. And I just thought, this is a cat that's just found her way here because, and I didn't even know it was a her.
She was gray.
She was gray, striped gray. Last year, we were out walking in the pasture, and that's when Ellie found a kitten, like just a random kitten. We don't see strange cats around here because of our dogs. So when I saw her, I was like, oh, they must know her. Like, okay, she was coming to grab some food. We do have cats that free feed our cats. So I just didn't even think anything of it. And then when the dog started barking that night, I thought it was a possum possibly at the steps, because why would a cat make its way in here? Like, that just didn't seem right. And lo and behold, it was a little baby kitten. And then to go upstairs and holy cow, see more.
Yeah. All right. So I'll just kind of like backtrack a little bit. Well, let me address the elephant in the room. Connie, how could I not be a little bit jealous? Because she posted her video today on Facebook of, I'll just call it Jami's phase 1. The phases of Lester never worked, but Jami's phase 1, she posted today. And all I'm reading about, because I get notifications, all I'm reading about are all these people who keep saying, Lester, I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. How many I told you so can a man take? That, because that's also in our barbaric code, not to be able to handle I told you so. And so in my code, the words that I keep reading all day long are, Lester, I told you so. And yeah, maybe you told me so. And so fine. There, I said it. So it's not jealousy. It's just like,
but hold on.
I wanted to win. I wanted to have something after all of my work. I wanted to have something to show for it. And I have nothing to show for it besides failure after failure after failure.
You got this to show for it. This one's sweet.
Go get the other ones. Ouch. Go get the other one, the side by side, so we can show everyone how similar they look.
Okay. You know they're like power in numbers, right?
Fritz. Well, I will hold this one here against my heart. Maybe he can feel my heartbeat and know that I'm more scared than he is. He does look terrified. So we are on 2 different devices right now. Y'all might see my eyes going up and down. It's not because I'm crazy. I'm not as crazy as I am crazy, guys. Y'all know I am crazy. I'm
just
freaking nuts.
Just not for this.
But yeah, these 2 looks, and I'm not choking. My hand is just resting here so he doesn't bite me.
But look how much bigger this one's head is than that one.
Is he pawing? Look at him, like they're trying to hug.
I told you, power in numbers.
He wants to hug him.
Aww.
Oh, they're hugging because they're so nervous. They like, who are them 2 cats with that man and woman? They see themselves. So
mad. Fritz is so pissed.
Why don't you give me the mean one for her?
I didn't. You got the sweet one.
This is a sweet one?
Yes.
Okay.
You got Freddy.
I really am holding him gently. It may look like I have my hands squeezed
He's
around
got his
him.
head like leaned forward.
But listen, my fingers are not squeezed. Everyone's gonna think that I'm choking this poor cat. I'm not. My hand, he's just literally resting on my palm and leaning against my hand. Okay. So oh boy, don't you do that. There you go. You sweet. Yes. So we will play Jami's video tomorrow on her channel that shows the capture. Mm-hmm. Hey, Jami, I think that this one here wants down.
Well, you can't put it down.
I know.
That's the rule. Like,
so
but
anyone?
No, I wanted to say though that had you not spent the time in there and given them the comfort of us together, it wouldn't have been as easy for me to just sit down and for them to come out and eat. Like, we both had a hand in this. I didn't want to give you credit in the video, but I will give you credit now. So what you're
saying is they thought they had us whooped. They said these guys are suckers.
Yeah, they're like, these guys aren't going to do anything.
Well, ain't
what
nothing
are they
they can do. And all right. So at that point, they realized, you going to try to hold both of them? Yeah. At that point, they realized that these guys are not a threat to us. We do what we want to do. We eating all their food. We're eating all their food because we tried everything.
Yes.
I say we. I tried tuna. I tried pieces of ham. I tried
when I walked in there and
saw cat food.
A bowl of ham on the floor.
It wasn't a bowl. It was their bowl, but it only had a couple of hams.
All I know is there's ham in there, and I was like, oh, he's really taking it to the extreme right now. Even Mr. Hank walked up to that and was like,
he ain't eating that.
No.
No. Anyway, we are blessed because I did not want to have to worry about them cats, these kittens behind the wall. And at some point, y'all, something bad could have happened.
Talk about how
I got plenty to talk about, Jami. She wants me to talk about stuff. Like you can talk about no. Um, so I will say that we're blessed that the kittens have now been captured. And so now we have to figure out what is the next step. So you guys know that we have 7 barn cats. I call them barn cats. Some live here in the shop, but most live out in the garage. And if you don't know this is kind of a country thing, but country folks know that to have a barn cat, you have to feed them, and they will live where you feed them. And so we feed our barn cats out in the garage. We call it the garage. It's not the shop right here. The dogs live in the shop right here, but the barn cats live out in the garage, and they protect our feed from mice.
Right.
And if you don't have mice, you won't have snakes. So yeah, we like a lot of barn cats. You all know them.
But the issue is we can't. So
all of our barn cats are fixed, either spayed or neutered. And so when we saw this other cat show up, it was a gray cat. We've both seen it several times just around with our cats.
Yeah.
But we never thought anything about it other than, a cat shows up, because if you feed them out there in the barn, other ones may show up. And then to find out that we had babies, well, that was a shocker. What were you going to say?
What I was going to say is, though, like, next steps for these kittens are, we can't just like let them out in the barn.
No. They need vet until they get gentled down.
That's what I'm saying. Like right now, they're terrified, so they'll run.
Yeah,
and likely run back up to the attic, and then can find their way back down in the wall, and then we're just back at square one. And there's no way for us to close off the attic completely.
No.
And so this has to be like there's strategy that has to go into this.
And then something that you didn't say that you're probably scared to say, because we want people to love our dogs. But guys, I'm gonna tell you right now that not all of our dogs are cat friendly. that sounded so stupid. Not all of our rescues and our amazing dogs are not all cat friendly. I don't know why I giggled like that.
I don't know why you did either. I was like,
I don't know, Jamie, but they're not cat friendly.
What's wrong?
I don't know. Just talk.
Yeah. So we have some chasers, and that it's a bad habit, but we're not going to be able to break it in this short amount of time in conjunction with taming down feral kittens. So we have to make decisions about what's next for the kittens.
So I know for a fact, now I don't know at the timeline for a fact, but at some point we have to get flea treatments for sure. And
we've done the at-home version of it, but that's not enough. That's not like they need bigger.
Dewormers for sure. And I would think, obviously you want to get vaccinations, but I don't know how old until they get their first round of vaccinations. And so we cannot keep them in a kennel for 6 weeks. I'm guessing they're probably 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks now.
I think they're probably like 6.
I don't know. But isn't it crazy how we never knew they were upstairs? Never, until the day that our dogs went crazy and cornered one. And so that makes me wonder, did Mama bring them here?
That's what I don't know.
Or did Mama have them here?
So I was wondering if she brought them and dropped one on the step, like she made the other 2 get upstairs and then dropped the other one on the steps, like the dogs interrupted her or something like that.
Got at her, yeah.
Because it's very unlikely that the dogs wouldn't have been going nuts with her being up there for weeks before that. I know that Buddy was upstairs, which caused the air duct mishap and things like that.
So there's going to be people who are going to say that Buddy was only up there because he knew that there were cats or kittens up there.
Maybe, but I don't have a camera that was set up there until we found the kittens. So I don't have the answers. I saw the
first vaccines at 6 weeks. Thank you, Sissy. Wait, that's Dr. Cochran's mama. Sissy.
Of course she knows that. She's probably texting Dr. Cochran going, when do they need to go in? Can you get us an appointment too, Sissy?
First of all, no one sends Sissy a friend request. Miss Sissy, don't accept a bunch of friend requests, because there are some great, great people, some amazing people. What are you saying?
She says, I consulted your vet.
Oh, my gosh. She consulted our vet. Dr. Cochran is our vet. She and Dr. Priestley, and they're amazing. And this is Dr. Cochran's mom, who I have personally invited to come visit, hang out with us for a week. I want to meet you and hang out with you for a week, because from what I hear, she's more of a Longhorn Lester guy or a kind of gal. Then she is a suits the boots kind of gal.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll hang out with Dr. Cochran and we'll
like
do our
I
thing.
say, everyone needs to find their happy place. So, Miss Sissy, thank you for choosing Longhorn Lester as your happy place. I'm kidding.
Thank you for boosting his ego. He needs it.
I
Clearly.
do. Look how
Clearly he needs it.
Look how uplifted I have been just from being able to say that. So thank you, Dr. Cochran's mama. I hope they call you mama.
Do you think that she appreciates being like I was Xander's mom, you were Ellie's dad, right? Like in social settings. Like, do you think that you're like there's this, point in time where you're like, I'm Lester or I'm Jami or like she wants to be Sissy, or is she cool with being Dr. Cochran's mom?
I get it. No, here's what I think. I think as a parent, you feel honored to know that.
Hold on.
Oh no.
I love Sissy. Hold on a second.
I can't wait.
She says it's the Argo, Lester.
See, we're going to take that Argo for a ride. We're going to take that Argo and go for a ride. You and me. It's going to be a lot of fun. But and we're going to talk about your daughter because she gives me a hard time. And
because
we're
you
talk
deserve
about that.
it.
Yeah. So, but what I was saying was, don't accept a bunch of friend requests.
No, don't.
Because I'll tell y'all, and I'm going to tell you something that we got from Miss Janine over at the our favorite restaurant here in town, and it's sad it has to be this way. It is sad it has to be this way, but we made a video about Miss Janine and what an amazing person she is, and how much she helps us and she service. And then we found out about her personal story and her struggle and all of the things that she's been through in her life to have built her to the woman that she is today. An amazing woman. And so for all of the kind people out there that enjoyed the video and messaged and commented, there's also been a couple of people who you might see it as friendly, but we see it as kind of stalkerish. When you can't call someone at work over and over and over and over. And Miss Janine has had to deal with management now giving her a hard time because this same person calls to talk to her
at work,
at her work, because we made the mistake of it saying where she worked. Jami and I are people. We're people. We love to meet and shake hands and hug. And I try to, whenever we meet somebody new who knows us through the page, give them a little piece of a shout out on a video and whatnot. But guys, not everyone is like that. And you can't expect everyone to be that way. And so Miss Janine got some nice things that were sent to her and mailed to her, and they all went to the restaurant where she works. But the person who calls her throughout the entire day, that's not very kind to put her under stress and pressure at her job. And that's what you've done. So I would just ask you, Miss Cochran, and everyone else, don't do that. If we have someone come on who you might because you can learn about people through the internet. You can find them on Facebook. You can find out where they work, but you can't really harass them. And that's kind of harassment.
Right. So for Ms. Cochran, what we're saying is that she shouldn't accept friend requests from people she doesn't know and things like that. We're not saying that she's the one doing this or anything like that. We're simply saying
Dr. Cochran's mom's not doing it.
No, but I wanted to clarify what you said though,
or is she?
When we showcase people, it isn't necessarily an invitation for people to like connect with them, to find a way to connect with us.
Yeah. That's what you can't do. Connect with us through social media and through our email. And a lot of y'all have learned about the WhatsApp app that I use. And so I communicate on a pretty regular basis with almost everybody that I can get to. And we are people, and we will love to communicate with you. And if we see you out and about, by all means, we'll say hi, and Jami will hug on you, and I'll shake a hand. And I'll always quiz everybody. I quiz everybody. The teacher in me has to quiz everybody.
In fact, you did it yesterday at
Tractor Supply. I did. Yeah, I did. I did do that yesterday to a lady at Tractor Supply, which was fun. But no, just realize that. But they are friends of ours, and they're guest of, I don't want to say guest of our show, but they are. But that doesn't mean that you should go out and contact them. Actually, many people are saying how creepy that is. And you don't want to be that creepy person, guys. You don't want to be that creepy person. So just know that it's nice to make their acquaintance through here. And you can comment through here, because I bet you they would probably read comments the same way we all do.
Yeah.
But don't bother them at work. And then we're going to have to be more careful
Yeah,
about
that's what
talking about.
Lester and I learned a lesson there, really, of ensure that we communicate to those watching as well, of, you know, we can't do this if this is the outcome every single time, and where it puts people in fear, and they're, you know, watching when they walk to their car when the restaurant closes and things like that. Like that's not fair.
And and it's scary. Miss Janine is a woman who has to close sometimes, and it's not. And then I think the scariest story she told us. We went there recently. Y'all know that we eat there once a week. And she said that this particular individual, I'm not going to say any names, this kind of spooky, but Miss Janine got to work at her time to get there. And right when she walked in, the phone rang, and it was for her. And it scared her, y'all. It scared her. And it would scare anybody. It would scare Jamie. It would scare me, because that makes you think that someone is in the parking lot watching you
and knows your schedule,
and now they know your schedule and what you drive. And so I don't want to be mean to anybody. I'm not trying to be mean to you all, but let's just remember that these are real people. And
the same way we ask for privacy and respect, we ask for that for the people that we showcase and talk to and bring on. And that includes our vets, that includes our farriers, that includes anybody. It's the same, an extension of what we bring in social media, in my opinion, is through social media, and that's the way that should remain that way.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I don't know my YouTube. I'm just going to say my audience instead of family, as much as I know my Facebook audience, family. And that's because on YouTube, there's no way to click on them and see who they are. On YouTube, you can't. I mean, you click it, and anybody can have any name. You don't have to give all of your bio. You don't. And so, but if I click on any name on Facebook, I can see all of your friends. I can see all of your pictures. I can see anything that you never put on private, your hometown, your school, where you went to school. And so things that people say, I can see your birthday. And so a lot of things Facebook by default will have on public. And so Facebook has always been about having a community. And so people have kind of used it for a negative. I mean, it all came to a head the day that a lady burnt our dumpster. I still talk about that. It's been several years ago over at I'm a Survivor. And she was passing by daily. And then she would tell us that she's passing by. And then she began to tell Jamie, she created that she and I had this thing going. She had created an entire fantasy about our history, that she and I had a history. You talk about it, because it's not out of my mouth. She
sent me a message, because Lester told me to pick up some steaks and come on by on Friday.
True. That's not true.
And that we would grill out and just all hang out. And I was like, no, he didn't. No. And then how they had a previous relationship, and how she gave them to how she gave him to me.
She gave me to Jamie.
She let Lester go so he could be with me. And I'm like, who is this woman?
And I'm like, Jamie, I swear I've never met her in my life. I don't know who this person is. And then Jamie began to get very mean letters that she was writing from her home in some other state. I don't want to say the state.
Pencil.
Oh, yeah.
She wrote it in pencil, which to me is like, that's some serious shit. Like, if you're taking the time to write in pencil, you didn't type it up, you didn't just grab an ink pen, you found a pencil, you sharpened it, and you wrote it in pencil. And then you took the time to physically mail it, and you put your return address on it in your threat as well.
That was when so we handled it the right way. We handled it with the authorities. And it was very soon discovered that this person is ill. I'm not making light of
No.
anything, but they are ill. And so I would just ask that. And today, Dr. Cochran, I don't even know why I called Dr. Cochran's mom out, but just don't accept friends' requests. If you don't know them, this is good advice for everybody on there.
It really is.
And you know what I've seen all the time? Everyone knows this, that every time you go to, especially on Facebook, more than YouTube, I believe, that this same spammer or hacker, whatever you want to call them, it's always a person, a man who has an attractive profile, which he's stolen from a real person, and he creates his own fake profile. And then he's so dumb to go on there and say, I really like the things that you say. You always share such amazing
Inspiring
information.
Things.
And he's like,
will you send me a friend request?
Would you send me a friend request? And I'm like, Jamie, I feel bad for anyone gullible enough to fall for that. And then Jami says that whenever I use the word gullible and I call people gullible, that you all get mad at me. So I don't want to. I'm trying to remove that word from my vocabulary. If it truly is making people angry that I'm using that word a lot.
Well, here's because no one wants to like be called out for something.
I get it. I would.
I don't want to either. Like, what do you mean it's not true? Like, it's one of those like revelation things. The last thing you want is for someone to call that out and about you. So yeah, I don't think.
See, I'm kind of torn. I feel like on one hand, we have an obligation to share if we know something or we see something deceitful or wrong. Let's just say straight up wrong. I don't want to say immoral, but just if something wrong is happening and we see that people, especially our people, are falling for it, I kind of think that we have an obligation and a responsibility to call it out. I just wish that y'all would call it out for each other more. And that's not just the people that are. I think
that's important. Yeah. If you see it in the comments and somebody else and be like, just report it and you can say it's spam, let that person know they're a spammer, because somebody may not be as experienced with the internet as you are. Can I tell this Brienne story?
Yeah, but just remember, it's not just people who are spammers. It's other video creators. It could be anybody. Think about what you're doing and what they're asking of you. Think about what you're doing and what they're asking of you.
So, Brienne, of course, I spent a lot of time with Brienne in the car this last week. And we're talking about social media and everything. And we're talking about some of the comments that come through and some of those spammers and how creative that they're getting, because some of the spammers will even say, I love animals as much as the next person. And we're like, dang, that's really like they're getting like an AI or something to know what type of video they're watching.
Yeah, it's AI.
And Brienne one-ups us all and goes, do y'all have your messenger turned on? And I said, I do, but I don't have the time to check them all the time. And for I'm a Survivor, we don't have messages turned on anymore because there was so much spam. She goes, let me tell you about my spam. Brienne is getting the most vulgar messages.
Hold on. But they're also holding farm animals.
And they're showing their private parts.
Yeah,
in videos while they're holding a chicken or a goat.
We don't have to talk about any specific ethnic group, but it's always a foreigner. I'll just say a foreigner who's in the nude, who's holding a chicken or holding a goat or holding a
and then they're
kitten.
Asking for a job.
And all
I can think about is like, who said this was how you do this? Like, what part of the world does this work? And what on earth is happening?
Hello, dear.
Yes. Yeah. And what on earth, like, when did this trend start? I've never been more thankful that we don't have Messenger anymore on Facebook. It was neat to communicate with people for a long time, but the spam got so out of control that you would get 1,000 messages a day and 800 of them would be spam. And if you opened them, you put your page at risk. So we just took it away. So now things have changed in the Facebook world since that point in time. And, as the family's developed doing things like that, Brienne does respond to messages and does go through that with her page. And when she was showing Stephanie and I these things, I was mortified. Like, How can Facebook not control that? Because that is just, it was disgusting and awful. And at the same time, like, what if your kid found that? Like, it's just all the questions. It was just awful. So
kids do use our phones. And
the internet is a terrible place. That's just what I'm going to say. Is a terrible place. Just be safe and cautious and thankful that you weren't getting the messages that Brienne is getting. I did tease her a little bit and asked, like, you know, that they're like, things listen to you and like show up on your page, you know, after what you've been saying, like, what does your Google search look like? And she's like, don't even, no, it didn't happen.
I don't even want to think about what Brienne might be searching to bring up nude foreigners holding chickens. But it's fun to laugh at. But if you ever get caught in yourself in a scam or a spam web, it's not easy to get out of. And Jami can tell you, I don't need to talk a whole lot, but guess who got caught up in that? Lester. For as smart as I think I am and as smart as I thought I was, I also fell for a scam a few years back. And I don't want to tell that story right now. I don't want to waste all of our time telling that story. But I always thought myself to be pretty smart. You know, I'm a pretty smart guy. I taught school for all these years and, you know, and this and that. And if they didn't have such an elaborate plan to trick me and sucker me in to giving out my information, account information, and it was a mess. It was a mess. And I would say if you're, especially, so what they do is they target people who they feel like are more vulnerable. And so I know that our audience, mostly 45 and older. And so unfortunately, with the way technology changes, we are a very vulnerable audience and we are vulnerable ourselves. And so they come onto our page and they say, hey, you won something. Listen, they take my picture. They take my name. Longhorn Lesters, you won. Send me this and this and this, and you're going to get a prize. Guys, that's not true. That's not us.
Yeah,
we don't do that.
We don't do giveaways or prizes or contests or anything like that.
I would just say in general, if you don't ever believe that, ever.
No, it's hard. And it's, you know, I feel bad because I know that people have given money and have bleeding hearts and want to help. And it goes all the way from GoFundMe's to asking, you know, people asking for help, people asking. I'm
going to turn this off real fast. It's making a chugging noise and they're going to think it's my stomach.
It's just hard. And I always think, like, you work really hard for your money. You know, we work really hard for our money as well. And the last thing that you want is to be taken advantage of. And I think that just goes, you know, it's just a caution to throw out there of like, just, you know, just be safe and really look into what you're doing and just be careful and don't trust so easily on the internet.
Yeah. This is what whenever I find myself in a position to pay a blessing forward, a financial blessing. And if someone says, you know, I'm fine, thank you, I don't need it. I'm like, then you know what? Why don't you pay it forward? Let me bless you. And then you pay it forward by buying the drink for the lady behind you at Starbucks. Or when you go to McDonald's, tell the young lady or the young man to keep the change. And you don't know, I don't know if you know, but there was a time in our lives where if we ran across a $5 bill that had somehow got lost and stuck in our pocket, went to the wash.
That was an amazing day.
I was on my knees thanking God, because a $5 bill, or be it a couple of quarters or whatever it may have been, could have been the difference in being able to afford my son a pack of French fries on the way home from school or something.
For me, it was like being able to put gas in my car to be able to get to work. And that wasn't too long ago. And I know that that's real in real life for many people. And so Lester and I believe that in times where we are able to pay a blessing forward, we do. And that might be money, that might be other things, but we're cautious, I guess, is the best way to describe it.
Yeah. I just think that, I mean, it goes with just as a general guideline. If there's anybody on the internet, they already have access to make their own money. They have access to earn money. Don't give them yours. Make them earn it the way video creators have to earn it. How do we earn it? By ads, by you watching the videos. And if we can't entertain you, if we're no longer entertaining and you find that you're bored, then go find your happy place. And that's on us. That's on us. So stop giving your money and don't fall for those GoFundMes. Should we
How
stop?
did we get here? How did we even get here? We started talking about kittens
Dr.
in the attic.
Cochran's mom is here. And
she probably left. She's like, boy, I started the pot by just showing up tonight.
No, I just worry about, because I feel so bad for Miss Janine and what she's had to go through. And that reminded me that there's probably hundreds, maybe thousands of people who have also been victims of spammers and scammers. And so the general guideline is keep your money, keep your information to yourself. You know, Lex, my son, Lex, we gave him I forgot the name of it. We're not going to talk about the name of it. Doesn't matter. But he has his very own little debit card. And so we put a different amount of money on his debit card that he can spend however he wants to. That's his quote, that's his money. He's earned it by doing his chores and by doing his work, you know, around the house and stuff. And so that's his allowance. And so he can use it the way he wants to. But what we learned real fast is that Lex was not very smart.
He wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready.
But it was a good lesson because
12 years old and he wasn't ready because he went off and spent all of his allotment in a couple of days' time.
And then he had to wait 28 more days until he got, you know, paid again. Because that's how that's a good time to be, you know, in this lesson period of like, you have this money, you can make it last, or you can do this, but it's be a real long month in between there. So he just got his second allowance 2 days ago, and he's holding on to it a little bit more this time.
Yeah. Just, we don't want you guys to fall victim to anybody who's taking your money, especially if they have the ability to make money themselves. So just general rule of thumb, you heard it from Lester. And so.
Somebody says there's a Dr. Pepper museum in Waco.
A Dr.
I want to go to
in Waco.
Because I just learned about something called the silos. Did you know about the silos?
I mean, I know what a silo is. It's a nuclear.
No.
Okay.
So the silos is like a store from the, you know, Chip and Joanna Gaines. No, you got nothing? HGTV? Okay. Anyway, no. I want to go to Waco selfishly on a girls trip, but now that I see there's a Dr. Pepper museum there, it might be a you and me trip. You want to go to Waco?
So Dr. Pepper ice cream, we've tried that. Dr. Pepper cotton candy, you've had me try that.
I've had the jelly beans.
We had the jelly beans, Dr. Pepper jelly beans. So let me ask you this. What is it about Dr. Pepper and the sudden popularity of it? Dr. Pepper's been around for a long time. You know, I got a photo from a sweet lady in South Africa who showed me that she's found Dr. Pepper, and she has a little can of Dr. Pepper that she's drinking on the beach in South Africa.
That's so cool.
And she'd never really heard of Dr. Pepper until watching our videos, and she knows how much I like it. And but no, it's crazy how there's like this sudden discovery of Dr. Pepper and Dr. Pepper products. But you know what? I'll be happy to go with you on a trip.
Isn't there something else in Waco, like some history stuff too? Didn't something happen in Waco?
Well, I mean, in history, you had something horrible happening in Waco with the David Koresh and the not People's Temple, but his cult, and they and the ATF agents, and there was
not the history I was thinking happened.
No, there's horrible history in Waco of a cult.
I thought that it was like a battleground of some sort, but
no, that was a battleground.
Well,
but not one that we're proud of. It's not a pretty
I meant
thing.
one that you would be interested in because you love history so much. But yes, let's go on a Waco road trip. Sorry, ladies, you got bumped down the line. We've
been to Waco. That's where we picked up our female ostriches from.
Yeah, so but we didn't go to do any of that stuff there. We just took a trip and
dragging a trailer along behind us. Yes, the Branch Davidians were the cult group in Waco. Thank you. And I said People's Temple. That would have been the Jim Jones folks, I believe. I don't remember all that, but boy, some scary, scary stuff happened in Waco. As a matter of fact, all of those, the Netflix is now showing all of that. So it's such a sad thing.
Well,
But once again, how can people be deceived? How can grown men and grown women who have children, who are grandparents, be deceived by someone that seems and looks so innocent and preaches? And oh my gosh, it's so sad to me. And then you saw where that ended, ended for so many people. Woo.
Anyway,
bad stuff.
Okay, so besides that history, I want to go to Waco. We'll skip that part of Waco. I want to go see the silos, and now I want to go see the Dr. Pepper Museum, and that'll be a fun little day trip. It's only like, what, 3 hours from here?
Waco, yeah, 3 hours.
Yeah, that's a day trip. That we can go there and back, right?
Yep.
That sounds fun.
Sounds good.
Okay, well, guess I'm going to start planning a Waco day trip then in this 1,000,000-degree heat wave that we're going to have for the next 9 weeks. We're expecting over 100 degrees real temp every day for the next 10 days, and our heat index is between 117 and 120. So Lester and I and Megan and Ellie are going to be doing triple water days and watering stations and having fans and just doing everything possible to keep all of the animals cool. You have some really neat content that you've caught happening in the Biggs pasture this weekend coming up, right?
Yeah, it's going to, some projects, video making projects require a lot of work, a lot of editing. And so the kitten videos, believe it or not, as cute and as fun as those were, they were a lot of work. When you start, kind of chopping things up and then putting music to it and trying to fit the music to the mood, those are a lot of work. But no, we got some cute videos. We're trying to mix some things up a little bit. And not in a bad way. It's going to affect everybody for the better, but it's going to require a little bit more work on our part. And, we say this all the time, but it's true that there's 50 million people just waiting to take our spot. You do know that.
I do.
And so as video creators, of course, Jami still works full time. I don't. I've made this my profession. So you do have to make sure that you're on top of your game, and that as times change and people do evolve, you do have to roll and you have to evolve with it. And you got to keep looking for new and creative ways to make your product one that people want to be a part of. And so it is, it's some new things that are coming. I'm going to say it's a new video format. I think is the easier way that I'm trying to put it. No, I know you're talking about one particular video.
Yeah, I was really just talking about a couple events that happened.
I just plugged that I'm going to start slowly evolving into a new video format and seeing how people do with it. And
let's just try a new style.
Hey, sometimes you got to mix it up a little bit, Jami.
It's going to be fine. Yeah, so you have that going on this week. What else is happening this week? Lex is here. Well, Lex is at G's tonight. Lex is here with us for the summer now. My niece and her mom will be here on the 5th. So we have some planning to do around that. I have a thing that I'm working on building, which I'm really excited about. We are going to have a Farm Olympics this summer, and we'll do a kid version and an adult version. The adults don't know that yet. This is my first announcement of that. So that's going to be super awesome. But we're working on those projects. Big greenhouse stuff is happening and will be happening this week. So that's exciting. Lester's got some tractor stuff to do tomorrow and the next day for me that he also doesn't know all about yet. And it's going to be a great week.
Yeah, my only request is that you put me to work after a certain hour or before a certain hour, because in the middle of the day, you don't want to do anything. And I don't know how folks are able to get out and do things midday, but the animals don't want to be doing anything.
They're very much in the shade or in being cooled off in that routine that we've created. So that'll be it's gonna be a busy week because of the heat, that's for sure. But also trying to time things out. Projects like today, we started projects at 5:30 because it was just too hot to do during the day, and the animals don't want to do anything basically from 10 to 5:30. Really, that's about their break time. What are you thinking? What did I forget?
I'm thinking more like 6:30. So I hope that this 5:30 thing is, so today is true.
I start at 5:30.
And so I did it too, because we had the live at 8.
Mhm.
But normally, I will say this, there have been days where I've waited till darn near 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And even at 7 o'clock, you walk outside, you can see the sun starting to fall behind the trees over here, yet the sweat just immediately just begins to pour out of you. And so, you're going to be a wreck within 5 minutes. And so that's at 7 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, it gets a little bit scary right now because the nighttime temperatures don't drop below 80. Animals, specifically animals that stay out in the heat, really need that time at night to cool down so that their bodies can regulate itself. When it doesn't drop below 80, it gets to be a little bit dangerous. Remember, if you remember last year about all the cows that passed away. That had a lot to do with the drought, had a lot to do with the nutrition, that type of thing. Now, we're not in an extreme drought right now, but we could definitely use some rain. And the heat is not great. It's not great. And I know it's Texas and it sounds weird to complain about the heat, but when you don't get a break for that amount of time, you just start to be concerned for your animals and take precautions to take care of them.
Yeah, even though we talk about it, I still remind you all the time, you haven't felt anything yet.
I know.
Because July and then August, and August is the one that's going to be the woo. I am not looking forward to August. But no, Jamie was talking about us taking a trip, and I thought to myself, I'm sitting here trying to be polite, like, oh yeah, I'll go. And in my mind, I'm thinking, wait, there ain't no way I can leave anytime.
We can't go till October. I didn't mean we were going this week. I mean, we can't go till October. So
we're very blessed that Ellie and Megan are full time at I'm a Survivor and doing a darn good job, y'all. They're doing such a darn good job.
There's a dog at the door.
Yeah, they're wanting to come in. But we don't have anyone over here. It's just Jamie and I, and we're fine. We make trips over to I'm a Survivor throughout the week, 3 or 4, 5 times a week. We still have our jobs that we don't want to give up yet that we're doing over there. Of course, I have my cows over there that I love spending time with. And there are projects to be done over there that I know I have to at some point jump on with some fencing and stuff. And I'm not looking forward to it. I really do want to see if I can wait and hold out until the fall. So, but no, ain't no one looking forward to anything to do during the heat. But we have to be present. We have to be present because it wouldn't take long for.
Yeah, we get into a routine at this time where it's morning waters and spray down, then it's midday waters and spray down, afternoon waters and spray down, and then really being able to turn fans and sprinklers on at strategic times because we have a well, and the well feeds every water source here besides the pond, obviously, but everybody's water, so we have to time it. You can't just go turn on everything at one time and just be like, well, see you later, deuces, because you have to be considerate of the well getting too hot and running too much as well.
Yeah, that's something that we've had to really preach to Ellie and Megan because this is the first time that they've both lived on well water.
Exclusively on well water.
Yeah, not having city water where, it's just, it feels like it's just always there. But well water is dependent on that well.
Right.
And you got to make sure that well doesn't overheat and doesn't, run itself dry. And so it's tough.
Yeah, electrolytes to the animals and just ensuring that, they have extra minerals and things to support them during this time. Like I would even say that we've learned so much over the past couple of years throughout, the time of caring for all these animals of what to do early on to prevent some of the things that we've sadly gone through.
Well, one thing that we're doing that I think is really neat are our big birds. We have our males over here in their pasture, in their spot over here with the goats. And then we let our females stay in the big pasture. But at around 2 o'clock every day, they all begin to congregate around our water sprinkler. And so I go out here to the males first, and I turn on their sprinklers, and they all plop down, and they have an eyelid. Not, they have multiple eyelids.
Yeah.
So they close one of their eyelids so the water didn't get in their eyes, and they sit there. And I guess that eyelid that they close is still transparent. They can see through it. So they're watching me with their eyes closed to see what I'm doing. And so they sit there in that water sprinkler for 30 minutes, and that's what I run it for, 30 minutes. And then I'll turn it off. They get so mad. And then I'll walk over and do it for the females in the other pasture for 30 minutes. And they do the same darn thing, just lay there. They're all waiting for it. They want that 30-minute break. And then even when you turn the water off, the ground around them is still cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives them several hours of cool, through the heat of the day.
Yeah.
But it is constant, it's constant work. Don't let anyone fool you and think that it's not. But you look for any break you can. Rain is always welcome because that's going to always cool things off a few degrees. And like Jami said, putting them sprinklers out there and getting the animals to cool down during the heat of the day, giving them a routine, keeping our horses and the dogs brushed is big.
Yeah, brushing them out, spraying them down. We have kiddie pools out for the dogs to cool off in, and of course, with the horses, spraying them down, keeping the flies off of them. Like it's a routine, but it's also it's rhythmic and requires a lot of time.
There's a couple of questions that I'm going to address from YouTube, Facebook real fast. So Christmas, all of her babies have been adopted out. I would say that Holly Darlene, which is the one that went to Miss Norma, is really the only one who we have constant updates on. Miss Norma started her very own Instagram for Holly Darlene, and so we see her post almost daily. Of course, we see the dog, the pup that we sent to Jake and Lissa, Moose, when we go over,
yes.
And he's doing great. But I can't say that we see everything going on in the life of the other dogs. But on occasion, those folks do send us a picture that they've taken, a cute moment, a little video clip.
I gotta show you something that came today. Keep talking.
And then another question was about Tilly and Sissy. Yes, I'm certain that Tilly and Sissy are both pregnant, and those are our goats over at I'm a Survivor. And they will at some point have kids, but I'm also pretty certain that the father of those goats is going to be Brienne's goat, who they call Lefty. I don't know why they call him Lefty, but we all thought he was way too young. I mean, I'm going to say this; it's going to sound a little bit vulgar, but it's animal and it's farm related. But his man parts, his no-nos, hadn't dropped when we first brought Lefty over. You know what that means? What I mean by that? They hadn't dropped. And so normally until an animal's man parts drop, you don't really think of them as ready to, to be a daddy yet. And so Lefty, we didn't have any problems with him hanging out with all of our goats through last summer, because he was at that point, he was still very young. He was a tiny little guy. If you go back and look at the videos, he's a little bitty goat.
It didn't make sense, but
yeah. But now all of a sudden, all of our females look to be like very bred and like about to burst, with milk in their teats and everything, which tells me that Lefty must have been more manly than what we thought he was. And so I joke and give Bree a hard time saying that you're going to be paying child support. I hope you realize that. But in reality, we have always known that the goats here at Longhorn Lester's have plenty. This is the land of plenty as far as goat foraging goes. And I'm not asking for this, but we could run 50 goats here and still have more foraging. Why are you making that face for? I'm not asking for 50 goats. Right now we have 9. We're going to have a few babies born.
If I didn't have my phone in my hand to show this picture, I would be pinching your leg and pulling the hair on your leg right now.
Listen to me. I'm just going to say this. We could run 50 goats here and would not be worried about them running out of foraging. We're not going to get 50 goats. We don't need 50 goats. Okay. No one needs 50 goats, but listen, I don't feed the goats. I don't have to feed them. I give them snacks, and I may toss over a little bit of green hay, but I told Jami, this is true. I don't think that we fed 3 bags of grain the entire winter because the goats are not hungry. There was so much green stuff growing throughout the winter.
Do not ever say 50. Shut your pie hole, Lester. Thank you.
My
Thank you.
pie hole. Shut my pie
Thank
hole.
you, Michelle.
Michelle. That's funny. And was that Gnaw Bowl? Woo. Okay.
It was very serious.
Yeah. You want to show something?
I want to show. I got a picture from
Make sure
Miss Kathy
Okay.
Of Billy Bob, an update of Billy Bob.
Oh my gosh!
So look, can you see that? Hold on a second there.
He's wearing sunglasses.
He literally is wearing shades. He has hippie little shades on there, and she says Billy Bob says it's okay to be extra. I'm telling you. Number one, I miss Billy Bob, but there's no way on earth that he would feel comfortable with the pack that we have today. And there is no better human to be caring for him than Miss Kathy herself.
You want to know how I kind of relate Miss Kathy to Longhorn Lester's? And I told the lady that we met at Tractor Supply the same thing. She was talking about how beautiful the property is. And I said, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm kind of embarrassed about this, but there were 2 or 3 properties that Jamie and I were very serious about. And before we bought Longhorn Lester's, we were very, very serious. I mean, serious enough to have an inspection, to do all of the things that you have to do to start that buying process. And would you believe that something kept happening all 3 times? Mm-hmm. Something fell through. Either the inspection was no good, or the appraisal came back. They were asking way more than it was worth. Or on one case, the owner backed out. And then if you remember one case, their barn was haunted. Okay.
That's not why.
That is why I would have known that barn had demons in it. You don't even make that face, Jamie.
That's not why we officially backed out.
Well, there was a lot of development in the area.
Like there were other reasons, but still it was not in our control.
But listen, what I was getting to is that it's weird the way sometimes things work out, because had that very first offer and inspection and all that went through, we would have never heard of this place that we all, are so happy with now in Longhorn Lester's. Our animals would be living somewhere else, and it might have been a great place. But looking back and then comparing videos and remembering I think that we shared most of the process with everybody as far as the other properties. And this is the one that we ended up finding that was just a twist of fate. We even found it. It wasn't even listed.
Yeah.
And it was just because somebody knew somebody who had this property that used to be for sale, but the owners took it off the market. And I'm thinking, the hell? And we ended up finding this. And that's similar to Billy Bob and Miss Kathy, mm-hmm. because there were several people that inquired serious inquiries about Billy Bob. And for some reason, they just kept falling through, like not coming through, or not able to come that weekend, or not able to do this.
It's true.
And so Billy Bob ended up going with Miss Kathy. And I've seen the videos of their walks, rain or shine, the things that she does with him, dressing him up with his little sunglasses, his vet's visits and whatnot. And Billy Bob, he won the lottery, if you will. Sometimes they say that, we won the lottery with this rescue or the whatever, but Billy Bob has won the lottery, y'all, with going to a lady a lap dog, a lady who has time and wants a lap dog, and
who genuinely cares for him. She sends me vet updates. Like he had a little bit of an anxiety flare with a thunderstorm a few weeks ago, and she sent me a picture and said he had a really rough night, and we went to the vet, and my vet recommended this, and she just handles it and takes care of it, and she loves him, and I think
mm-hmm.
that's a beautiful thing.
I do too.
The other thing I love about Miss Kathy is she is the thriftiest shopper I know, and she sends me all of the amazing deals that she gets, and like it just gives me a little inspiration on the deal front, and there are a lot of women who like that. So that I'm just saying that it was just Kathy's. I really like Miss Kathy.
A lot of folks saying God knew what you needed and he provided, and boy, did he ever. So I do want to say something else as far as talking about our rescue dogs and our whatever. I almost said fostering or whatever, but listen, there's been a lot of people who have fallen in love with our newest little guy, Brutus. But listen, Brutus is going to require a surgery on a tooth. He's going to require having his, remember those things that drop? He's going to have to, a couple of masses removed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think Dr. Cochran called them masses.
Says he needs to have a couple of masses we need to look at removing. And so he has heartworms. We showed you that video with all them heartworms, that poor little guy. So we're not at all ready to talk yet about moving on and parting ways with this little fella until we get a lot of things taken care of. Because that's one thing that Miss Kathy has done, is continued the vet care that Billy Bob needed. Even though we told her he still has a way to go, she was more than happy to continue the treatments that he was going to require. And so we can't ask anyone to take on a rescue who needs that tooth. That tooth has to come out, y'all.
What's
because
sad,
he can't eat. Go ahead.
He can't eat normal dog food, and I didn't realize it. Like, he's thin, and when we feed in the evenings, we literally open everything up on the counter and place it in front of each dog separately. And he just laid there and stared at it. And I thought it was so sad, because I'm like, I know he's hungry. So I brought him inside so to eat alone, thinking like that he was having a little anxiety around eating with everyone else. And he still wouldn't eat it. And then I realized, as I'm handing him little pieces of things, that he's swallowing it whole and not chewing because of his tooth. So we have to, he has to have a special food. And we're feeding him alone, so that way, we can watch and monitor how much he's eating as well. So he needs some pretty special care right now, and we'd like to get him through that.
So we do have a problem in the fact that we end up falling in love with them. We discover their personalities, and it's hard to part ways with one. So we knew that Billy Bob, as much as we loved him, and we did, and as much as the help that we hopefully were able to give him and get him off the street, we knew that he wasn't going to work out here.
It wasn't his best life. It wasn't safe for him. Best life. And it was dangerous. And I would have never forgiven myself if he would have got trampled by an animal or hurt by one of the bigger dogs, not intentionally, but still, he is not a farm dog.
No.
And one thing we have always said is, no matter what the animal is, if their best life is not with us, even if we've given it a good college try, even if we've spent money, even if we've invested ourselves and our time and our hearts and everything like that, that we promise that we will always do what's best for that specific animal. And that stands today with the dogs that we take in, with any single animal here. If it becomes to where their best life is not
even them kittens in there, those kittens may very well go to I'm a Survivor, because,
or if someone wants to adopt them,
someone here wants 3 kittens, then by all means. Now we're gonna have to do our part first, and get them ready to be moved as far as all their vet care and things that they need. But that goes for a lot of our dogs. We have Charlie and Echo that would make wonderful dogs to somebody who, I'm sorry to say this, can take Charlie and Echo.
Yes.
That means, so Jamie and I are not trying to be the police here, but we just kind of, in our minds, we know that they are a unit. They're together.
And that's the part that would not be good.
No, I would hate. It would kill me to know that they've been separated. It would really destroy me to think that I'm going to allow Charlie to go off to one home and Echo to a different. And there may be dog people who've been around dogs who say that's the best thing for them, and that's not that I don't care. I'm sorry. I'm hard-headed enough to think that I watch them play. I watch them, how they do their thing now. I watched so many things, and I just could not imagine seeing them broken apart at this point. If they were still pups, I understand, but now that they're at the age they are now, so they both, especially Echo, has a skin condition that we're working on and trying to get fixed. Buddy, Buddy's another one. Buddy is a dog that could make someone a wonderful home, a wonderful pet. I'm sorry, he needs a good home, but Buddy is a runner. Buddy, his favorite thing to do is take off running across the pasture 90 miles an hour for no reason.
Yeah,
No reason.
He needs room to run.
And so I think to myself, so I don't know many people that could say, you know what, we have land that Buddy can just run, because it's the dumbest thing watching Buddy. I mean, I say dumb, it's cute, dumb, but it's still dumb. We'll just walk outside and Buddy on his own will go and then just haul ass. And I think that he wants people to chase him.
I know.
And everyone's like saying, "Oh, it's too hot for that,
Everyone
Buddy.
else is like,
It's
we're
too hot.
old
We
and it's
ain't doing
hot
it, buddy."
and we ain't going.
And Buddy will break it down and he'll look around and he'll like then he runs. And that's Buddy's game. And so I think to myself, you know what? We'll eventually get Buddy to fatten up. We'll eventually make him into a really beautiful dog. And he would. He's housebroke.
He is a dog though that I think that he would do really well in not such a large amount of dogs. Like he's
kind of like Billy Bob with his anxiety.
I was gonna say, I think that Buddy would do best to be in an only dog home, or one other dog.
Someone's seen that video of Buddy just running like Forrest Gump, y'all. It's like the movie Forrest Gump where Forrest just took off running one day, just running. Buddy just runs. Yeah. Just runs everywhere. He doesn't walk.
He's sweet. He's not mean. And when I say like he would do well in a one dog home, it's because of his anxiety. He won't eat. He's very similar to Brutus in that aspect of like, he's so busy watching everyone else and running and doing his thing that he kind of forgets about food. So we have to feed him by himself as well. And if you notice, like when they all crowd around,
Buddy Gump,
Buddy is in the back of that. And so that's why I just kind of think that he would do well in another home with an older dog that doesn't have that same like need to be first thing, or in an only dog home type of thing.
When Jami started the ideas of helping out with the dog population, the stray dogs there, in the neighborhood, and she worked to, get me on board, and we had that rule, 1 dog a month, and that would give us time to get the vet care and get it rehomed. And if lo and behold, we're not sitting here now with looking at 9 dogs, and then Ritzy's not here now, though.
Well, I know, but we have 10 dogs.
Yeah, but we're sitting here and we have all these dogs, and I'm kind of like, I remember I had this talk with the vet. I'm like, would you guys consider us sickos? Are we like sickos? And she reminded me, she goes, hey, you know what? There are folks who have less dogs that have to live in poop and live in filth, and they don't have this area to move about, and they can't be taken care of. And there's people who are sickos who have these little love goggle type things, and they can't see that they're loving their animal to death. She goes, but no, she goes, you guys give them places to, activities to do with lots of enrichment. They have room to roam. They all have food to eat. They have resources in vet care. And so I don't want to just keep bringing in more dogs. I don't know at what point is enough, but at this point, we're not sitting here saying we got to get rid of some dogs. We got to move some dogs.
No, but if the perfect home came for one of them, then 1,000,000% yes.
Yeah. But like I said, look at us. We keep tagging on little asterisks, but you must have lots of room if you want to take Buddy. But you must take both Echo and Charlie if you want those. But you must be. And so
that's part of rescue, though. That's what
so.
Rescue. Have you ever seen the applications on
dog
haven't. Rescues to adopt? It is. That's why people, I think, just go by off of the street or wherever, any Craigslist or whatever, because to adopt you have to.
Very stringent rules.
There's rules, and you have to prove who you are. And some people aren't willing to do that or can't prove those things. Yeah. So like, I'll make up my mind if I can take care of a dog or not. I'm not. Who are you to tell me?
Yeah.
And so from my standpoint, I feel like we're being responsible. Every one of them are spayed or neutered. Every one of them are fully vetted and have all of the care and are healthy before they ever go to another home or have the option to go to another home. And if something would ever happen, we're always willing to take them back as well. So,
Isn't that, if you think about it, another blessing of Longhorn Lester's compared to any of the other three properties that we were serious about?
Yes.
Because none of in my mind, I'm thinking about all three of those properties, and none of those would have allowed to have dogs.
Not like this.
Not like this.
No.
And so this property is just perfectly placed where our shop and everything is right here in the center, in the back center, far enough away from the two neighbors on both sides. And the dogs, for the most part, have no desire to wander and roam. And we're just so darn blessed. We're not having to put collars on them, you know, for perimeter collars.
We've
And
been very blessed with the dogs that have come to us. And I've said this before, that I think we officially have a pack now, but the foundation of that pack is Millie, Fiona, and Trixie. And those three have set the tone. To each expansion does add its own personality to it, but it still stays within that parameter.
Did you just say Millie, Fiona, and Trixie as the pack leaders?
No, as the foundation. They were firsties.
Oh, the foundation. I was going to go, whoa.
And Ritzy. In reality, Ritzy was here, and we just made that switch at like dog number 5.
So Ritzy was the one that taught Millie and Fiona how to roam. So Trixie has never left. No. But Ritzy, yeah, we cannot have Ritzy back here until, because she's a beagle, and beagles want to find the nearest trail and follow it, no matter how far it goes.
And they would all go with her.
And they would all thought that was the funnest game, to follow her nose, and she would just take them forever. And that was scary for us. So Ritzy is better at I'm a Survivor, because she can get out and do what she wants to do, and everyone around there are family. And there's nowhere she can go, because she's not going to follow a rabbit into the neighborhood across the street. She only follows her nose to the woods, you know, behind all the family's houses. So
and by the time she gets far enough, she's tired, because
she's old. But no, we are blessed to have taken on the endeavor of the dogs. And the problem is, we start loving them. And when you start loving them, then it's hard to.
Let me tell you what, I love Brutus. Holy moly, do I love that dog. He's a male Christmas. Like, everything about him is just remarkable. He crosses his legs whenever he sits. His little front paws, he sits like this every time when he's laying down. Like, it's the most endearing thing ever. How can you not love him?
I know. Yeah, a lot of folks keep saying that we need professional training. But guys, I mean,
that's true. I'm not professionals in anything in life.
Yeah, that's not who we are. So someone said they would be great dogs with the right training. Well, they're great dogs now. They're great dogs now. So I don't know what kind of great you're looking for, but to me, they're already great. And so,
I mean, Lester would be great with some training too.
Wouldn't every man be great with some professional training? But guess what?
You get what you get.
So I'm not trying to be mean about your comment, but I'm certain that if Cesar Milan was our neighbor next door, we could probably learn lots of stuff, but he's not. And so we do the best that we can do. But I will promise you this, like Jami said, all of our dogs are very well fed, and they get plenty of room to run. And I would think that if I were a dog, I would say, yeah, I want to live there. I want to live there. And so that's kind of how I think about all of our animals. You try to think to yourself, if you were that animal, is this the best life for you? And as long as it is, then I think we're fine. But I'm getting off
You've talked a whole lot tonight. We're like over an hour now.
Hold on. So believe it or not, and I think that most folks would agree, and I would like to see this in the comments. Do you agree that Jami talked more than me tonight? Because I found myself with more of a listening ear. So just tonight, did Jami out-talk Lester? Yes or no? And I'm looking for comments. Yeah, well, there you go, Jami. So as you can see, it appears as though Jami out-talked. Hey, now you're saying no. It started off in my favor, and all of a sudden something shifted. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like in election results. All of a sudden, it's all in this favor. Then something happens, and a new precinct shows up and everything shifts. Well, your precinct just showed up, Jamie.
Let's
Your
rephrase that. I
precinct-
probably talked more than I normally do, but I did not talk more than you.
That is the meanest thing y'all could have said to me, because after the cat, all the cat wars and everything. Oh my gosh!
All I can tell you is that it's fine. It'll be fine, and that tomorrow's video is going to be chef's kiss, amazing.
Are you shamelessly plugging your video?
Hilarious. Yes, I am. I am shamelessly plugging the fact that there are some funny, outlandish moments in it that will make them laugh.
I can't catch it, but someone goes, you know what? I did notice that Jamie talked more tonight. I wish I could have caught that and stuck it up on here.
I can own it. It's fine.
Well, I will say that I will also have amazing videos out tomorrow and the next day and the day after that.
This
and
is
the
a
day
really
after that,
good match
and the
here.
day after that.
Can
and
I
the day
just
after
point
that,
that out?
And the day after that.
That the green is just like a perfect alignment. And we did not plan this. And it's very cute.
See, we love you, and we are blessed to have made your acquaintance and to be a part of your life, and that you've made us a part of your life. You take time to watch our videos and put up with our nonsense and our foolery. Our foolery is what my grandma used to call it. And you come back, and we appreciate that more than you realize. And so thank you for that, loving and supporting us.
And just giving us the greatest gift of all, your time.
That's beautiful. All right. Well, no, it's not a Texas goodbye. No, don't even go there. Here comes our Texas goodbye. No, we're really going to get off the internet now.
We're done now.
I'm going to take my finger and press in on the
I'm going here
Facebook,
so nobody has to look at my armpit.
and you'll do the YouTube, and I'll say good night to everybody.
Good night, y'all. We love you.